What you see here is not a rocky and uneven place from somewhere far away from the Earth. No, it's still Mars. 13 years ago, NASA sent the Curiosity rover to Mars, and 3 years later it sent another rover, Endurance, to join the mission. These rovers have been sent to map the planet and study the surface, and now, finally, they have brought back amazing records that are truly amazing. So, what exactly are we seeing here? And what else have these rovers been up to since landing on the Red Planet? Our fascination with Mars, what we like to call the Red Planet, has been around for centuries. But it's all the way out of space that we can take a closer look at. The first successful mission to Mars was Mariner 4, launched by NASA in 1964. It was a flight mission and provided the first close-up images of Mars. This is how we first discovered that Mars has a double surface like the Moon. It was a great achievement that ignited our thirst for more knowledge about our immediate world. In the years that followed, many more missions were launched. The Viking missions in the 1970s were spectacular. Viking 1 and Viking 2 landed on Mars and conducted experiments to look for signs of life. Although they did not find any real evidence of life, they provided a lot of information about the soil, atmosphere, and climate of Mars. Mars exploration has come a long way since the first missions. Each mission builds on the successes and lessons learned from the previous ones. In the 1990s, the Mars Orbiter mission was launched, which launched the Sojourner rover, a small 6-wheeled mobile rover with rock and soil analysis. This is a huge step forward and shows that we can not only land on Mars, but also move around and explore the surface. The 2000s brought with it important missions. The Mars Global Surveyor orbited the planet and mapped the Earth's surface. The Mars Odyssey mission, launched in 2001, discovered abundant hydrogen just below the surface of Mars. This is an important finding because frozen water is an indicator. All of these discoveries point to life on Mars, past and present, and suggest that humans could one day live there. But what is important to learn about Mars? Why don't we go to Venus or Mercury? For example, Mars is the most Earth-like planet in the solar system. Weather, polar ice caps, and weather patterns. Understanding Mars helps us learn more about the history and future of our planet. In addition, Mars could become home to humans. As Earth faces challenges such as climate change and population growth, Mars may become humanity's second home. But before thinking about colonizing Mars, we need to understand more, and then these activities will come into play. NASA's Mars Rover mission is at the forefront of Mars exploration. These rovers, like robotic scientists, are equipped with tools to study the surface and environment of Mars. The project began with the Sojourner rover, part of the Mars Rover mission, followed by the twin rovers Spirit and Opportunity, which landed on Mars in 2004. Spirit explored the Gozef crater, while Opportunity made amazing discoveries in the Meridiani Planum region, including evidence of historical waterworks. Because of these successes, NASA decided to build its best rovers, pushing the boundaries of what we know about Mars and finding answers to new questions. The first new rover NASA sent to Mars was Curiosity. On November 26, 2011, NASA launched the Curiosity rover as part of the Mars Science Laboratory mission. After a 9-month journey, Curiosity landed on Mars on August 6, 2012. The landing site was Gale Crater, chosen because scientists thought it might have water and possibly life. The descent and landing were so grueling and stressful that they are now known as the 7 Minutes of Terror. It involved a series of events, including an aerial crane operation that had never been attempted before. Despite the problems, the landing was successful and Curiosity returned its first images of the Martian surface, ushering in a new era of Martian exploration. There is a growing need for tools to aid exploration. It was about the size of a car, 10 feet long, 9 feet wide, 7 feet long, and weighed about 2,000 pounds. One of its most impressive features is the ChemCam, a device that uses a laser to separate rocks and soil and turn them into gases to study their properties. You can think of it as a laser gun analyzing the object from a distance. Another amazing tool is the Sample Analysis on Mars, SAM, a small laboratory that can analyze the chemical composition of samples, including organic compounds, which is essential to determine the existence of life. To Mars. The reactor is powered by a special power source called a radioisotope thermoelectric generator, RTG, which converts heat from the decay of plutonium-238 into electricity. This power source allows Curiosity to continue working at all times, day and night, without running out of power. Developing all these tools for Curiosity is no small feat. The entire Mars Science Laboratory mission, including Curiosity, cost $2.5 billion. It was a lot of money, but the mission that provided us with amazing information about Mars was worth every penny. Naming a rover is a big deal for NASA, and they love getting kids involved. For Curiosity's sake, in 2009, an essay contest was held for students across the United States. Sixth grader Clara Alma won the contest. He pointed out the name. So, with all this money and advanced equipment, what did Curiosity find on Mars? The Curiosity mission to Mars was an incredible feat. He has made many discoveries that have greatly improved our understanding of the red planet. Did you know that Curiosity has found organic compounds on Mars? Rock samples were taken from Gale Crater, and these rocks were found to contain organic compounds. These organic molecules, which contain carbon, may be used as building blocks and food for life. But why is this discovery so important? The presence of organic compounds on Mars suggests that the planet may have supported life, even though it did not. The researchers found that the presence of ice and carbon dioxide and methane is similar to ancient biological processes, but may also be the result of non-physical processes, such as the interaction between the sun and the atmosphere, and carbon dioxide in the Martian atmosphere. This discovery inspires ongoing and future research not only by Curiosity, but also by other missions looking for signs of life beyond Earth. Curiosity also found that the amount of methane in the atmosphere near the Martian surface is changing. On Earth, most of the methane in the atmosphere comes from biological processes, but we don't know if that's the case on Mars. Although Curiosity can't tell if the methane it found has a biogenic source, there is evidence that biological processes may be taking place on Mars. In addition to all this, Curiosity's mission is to determine the time of formation and age of rocks on Mars. The rocks around Gale Crater formed about 4 billion years ago and were transported to Yellowknife Bay, where they became sedimentary rocks about 70 million years ago. Weathering and erosion exposed these rocks to surface radiation. This information will help scientists to understand the rate of erosion on Mars and to assess how the radiation affects the organic compounds in the rocks, affecting the detection of biological signatures. Curiosity also made us aware of water on Mars. Water is essential to life, and the rocks at Gale Crater show a rich history of water. For example, Curiosity has discovered jarosite, a mineral that occurs naturally in aquatic environments. It shows that there is water on Mars. An experiment found that jarosite has a much lower age than expected, suggesting that liquid water could still exist below the surface even if the planet had dried out. This means that Mars has been around for much longer than previously thought. Curiosity has also shown us how Mars lost its atmosphere, changing from the hot, humid world to the cold, dry world we see today. By measuring the ratio of deuterium to hydrogen in water samples, Curiosity provided clues about hydrogen leakage and water loss over time. This has helped scientists understand long-term climate change. After this, Curiosity also discovered biogenic nitrogen on Mars, which was quite surprising. On Earth, nitrogen is essential for life, but it must be in good balance to be usable. The probe found solid nitrogen in the form of nitrate in rock samples, suggesting that there was usable nitrogen on Mars 3.5 billion years ago that would have sustained life on Mars. All of Curiosity's discoveries are exciting, so in 2022 NASA will extend the Curiosity program until 2025. But Mars is too big for one rover to study everything, so NASA decided to start a new project with a new rover called Endurance. NASA's Perseverance rover was launched from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida on July 30, 2020, and will land on Mars on February 18, 2021. Perseverance is an upgraded version of the Curiosity rover. Many parts and components. Design, but with some new features. The aircraft will carry the latest scientific instruments, an improved landing system, and an Ingenuity helicopter. This helicopter made history by becoming the first aircraft to achieve electric flight on another planet. It's amazing that we can fly drones to other planets. The patient's job is to search for signs of past life and collect rock and soil samples for future return to Earth. Landed at the mouth of the Jezero River, an area believed to have once been a lake, is a good place to look for signs of ancient life. Perseverance has several new instruments, such as Sherlock, scanning living environments with Raman and luminescence for organics and chemicals, which use cameras, microscopes, and lasers to look for fossils and minerals that indicate past life. A PIXL, planetary instrument for X-ray lithochemistry, to determine the chemical composition of rocks and soil. One of the new patient instruments is MOXIE, ISRU's Mars Oxygen Experiment, which aims to convert carbon dioxide in the Martian atmosphere into oxygen. This technology is essential for human missions to Mars, as it can provide oxygen for breathing and fuel. Another interesting feature of the Discovery is its set of microphones to record sounds on Mars, giving us the opportunity to hear the Martian environment. Additionally, Perseverance is equipped with the RIMFAX radar imager for Mars Subsurface Experiment radar, which can probe the Martian surface up to 10 meters, 33 feet, deep.